Right now, we are swapping out traditional gas-powered engines for electric motors at a massive, global scale. But these new vehicles don't run on magic. Their success relies entirely on massive, highly engineered internal battery packs. Building a reliable electric vehicle battery is exactly like baking a cake. You have to follow a very precise recipe. Just as a cake requires large amounts of base ingredients like flour and sugar, a battery needs a heavy foundation of base metals, primarily lithium and nickel. Those base ingredients provide the bulk of the structure, but if you stop there, your cake will fall apart. To hold all that electrical energy together safely, you need a highly specific binding agent. That essential binding agent is a hard, silvery metal. It's called cobalt. In a battery, cobalt performs a vital dual role. It allows the battery cells to pack in an immense amount of energy, while simultaneously keeping the whole system stable so it doesn't dangerously overheat. A single premium electric vehicle battery requires up to 15 pounds of this specific material. That is a fixed per-car requirement. Now, compare that to the explosive growth of the industry. This chart shows annual global electric vehicle production, surging from 2 million vehicles in 2015 to over 14 million today. Unless scientists discover a completely new way to manufacture batteries, that annual demand is mathematically guaranteed to keep rising as more drivers switch to electric. Because of this strict chemical requirement and booming demand, cobalt has become one of the most structurally critical commodities on Earth. Let's go back to our cake metaphor. Imagine you suddenly need to bake 14 million cakes, but the vital baking powder you need is only sold at one specific grocery store. As this map shows, that single grocery store is the Democratic Republic of Congo. The DRC produces roughly 70% of the global cobalt supply, mostly concentrated in just one province. No other critical global commodity is this heavily concentrated in a single nation. The physical scale of extracting this much material is massive. It requires enormous, multi-billion-dollar industrial mines, carving terraced pits into the earth. But alongside those corporate megamines, a significant portion of supply comes from unregulated artisanal mining, where laborers dig with hand tools in unpredictable conditions. Relying on a single location for 70% of a vital resource creates a fragile choke point. If anything disrupts this one region, the entire global electric vehicle transition stalls. This extreme supply concentration leads directly to violent price volatility in the global market. Because the supply is so tightly bottlenecked, a single local disruption, like a labor strike or a government export restriction in the DRC, can cause global cobalt prices to spike by 30% almost instantly. You might be wondering, instead of relying on these unpredictable mines, why don't we just bypass them and recycle the cobalt out of old batteries? It sounds like a logical fix, but the current global recycling rate for cobalt sits at a remarkably low 5%. The industry faces a locked-in problem. The electric vehicle boom is so recent that the vast majority of batteries ever produced are currently sitting inside active cars, driving down the highway. They simply aren't ready to be scrapped. Until millions of these early electric vehicles age out of service a decade from now, recycling cannot provide enough material to solve the immediate supply crisis. The market remains tethered to the DRC. This leaves automakers with a difficult question. How do you escape a geopolitical trap when your supply is locked to one country and your demand is soaring? The only permanent solution is for scientists to completely rewrite the battery chemistry cookbook. Researchers are rapidly developing and deploying new cobalt-free alternative batteries, using different materials like iron and phosphate, which are already powering entry-level vehicles today. However, these new recipes have a notable limitation. Right now, they still lack the superior energy density and performance of traditional cobalt-based designs. Because of that performance gap, high-end, long-range vehicles still absolutely require the original cobalt recipe to deliver the mileage consumers expect. Right now, the push for a clean, electric future is firmly anchored to a highly localized physical mining challenge. The outcome of the electric revolution now rests on a single choice: securing this one specific metal or engineering it out of existence entirely.